evening, everyone. It is 6 o'clock p.m. and we are here back live at ECCMID TV in our studio in Cologne, Germany. And I'm very happy to announce my next guest who has entered our studio and is sitting here live with me to talk a little bit more about her work. With me is Professor in Clinical Microbiology at the University of Paris and Paris Hospitals, Professor Emmanuelle Cambau. Welcome to you.
Thank you.
Also known as one of ESCCMID's executive committee members, and where she is serving as the professional affairs officer. Well, I'll be liking to talk about that a little later on in our discussion. But first of all, I'm very interested to hear from you how you are enjoying your ECCMID so far, and what, on a more personal level, for your own specialty interest, are you looking forward to this ECCMID?
May I say first that, of course, for everyone attending ECCMID this year is a little bit special. You may understand because we're not meeting really, so we are in front of a computer, and so some people may think it's not only unusual but not that interesting. Mm-hmm. But frankly, when you start connecting to the platform and looking at the sessions, this is very interesting. I mean, of course, the sessions are as interesting as always in previous ECCMID, but also
it's missing another dimension.
Yeah,
right?
but you saw your. You have the presenter, the colleague in front of you, and often you see him or she in his or her house, which is very unusual, and you feel like if you know
does it
the
feel
person,
more intimate?
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So it's different.
On a
Let's
personal
say
level,
it's different. It's different, but that's very interesting. And of course, on my personal interest, I'm waiting for each ECCMID for attending sessions on mycobacteria, because that's my expertise and interest. And there are many sessions. They have been already, and tomorrow we'll have a full day of mycobacteria session. Well, I know the study group on mycobacterial infection, ESCMID, try to organize this, but not only. And today we have a session, and tomorrow we have 4 or 5 sessions. And Monday, nearly at the end of ECCMID, we'll have also a keynote lecture on MDR-TB, multi-drug resistance tuberculosis, which will be very interesting. So we need to.
You will be leaving the ECCMID with a big bang as mycobacteria lovers. Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. In the keynote on mycobacteria, are you expecting any new developments? Any newsworthy changes to that maybe practice changing even?
Yeah, there are many changes on tuberculosis, although during 50 years nothing had changed. But today there are many changes. There are new drugs, there are new treatment regimen, and there are many discussions about this treatment, probably because it's going fast, probably also because it's very important disease. May I say that, of course, we all know about COVID-19, but tuberculosis is killing more than 1 million persons every year. So this is very important disease, and that's also the reason we still have many sessions on tuberculosis, bringing people from north and south, west and east, because it's a disease we have everywhere or so. And having new treatment and new short regimen, because there is a session on short regimen as well, I think that might be very important.
Yes, so it's moving in the right direction. And unfortunately, well, going on the amount of lectures and sessions that there are on mycobacteria, COVID hasn't stolen the spotlight completely.
Not only. And I think people attend a lot sessions outside COVID topic. And because they know that ECCMID will present, a large panel of topic on infectious disease and clinical microbiology.
Yeah.
So that's also important, I think, to say that it's not only a conference on COVID.
No.
Of course, it is important also.
Absolutely.
Because ID and NCM are the important persons, experts on this disease and infection.
Yeah.
But they know also, they know about other things.
Absolutely, yeah. And those infections won't stay away because COVID just entered the field. No. Well, moving on to a different personal path you're taking as professional affairs officer within the executive committee of ESCCMID. Can you explain to me and to our viewers a little bit more about that specific role within the executive committee?
Yeah, this is a part quite different from what we call usually science, because of course there are a lot of matter about the topic itself, but with the professional affair, we're more talking about the person who you are. That means, of course, you are a clinical microbiologist, an infectious disease, you're working in infection control, but how did you learn that? How do you practice? How is your career? How do you become this? How
do you become a professional in this field?
And also how you switch from a trainee, to a senior. And so we have many questions from the trainees, and that's the reason why we have a big part of ESCMID activities devoted to the trainees, then what we call Trainee Association of ESCMID, TAE. So they had a very good session this morning. Each ECCMID, they have a TAE day. In fact, it's half a day where they meet. And
this is just with the trainees together, or are there also seniors involved, or ESCMID
Well, there was the
executives
first
involved?
part open to everyone, and where they present their activities. They choose every year 2 awardees, and the awardees present their life, more or less. That's very, very nice. And then they organize a quiz.
A quiz, yes.
Well, not that easy,
No?
No.
Not for the trainees, or not for the seniors, or for everyone?
Yeah, they are trainees, so they know, they learn, they're learning, and they are very serious. And the second part, they discuss with us, especially the member of the executive committee, and they can ask all the questions. How will I become professor? How to do that? Should I go to, should I make some research? To know more about that topic, etc., etc. We have a very transparent discussion.
Would you say that the objective is to offer guidance or sort of counseling into the profestional pathways?
Yeah, exactly.
That
and
lie ahead
also
of
they
them?
are looking for mentors, as in every career. And so I mean, we are there. We do our best to do something
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah. So that's a big part of the professional affairs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're young, so they are full of ideas and energy. So
Yeah.
that's very interesting.
That gives energy to the others as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were also speaking a bit about who the person is behind the professional. Um, there is a committee, right, within ESCMID that really has the mission to improve the representation within ESCMID. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the commission is a parity commission. It's quite new in ESCMID, but I think it is specificity for also, again, not looking at science, but at the person who you are, and trying to involve all people. Of course, it seems like that maybe not scientists in us, but we realize that in science and in medicine, it happens also who you are. And so it's a small group of 3 to 4 persons, and they work a lot. And so they organize these unusual sessions like Equity in Science you will have tomorrow.
Yes.
And I think that might be very interesting.
Well, the big question is, of course, well, because there is a parity commission, there apparently is a need to improve the representation and the balance in, I think, gender, ethnicity, geographical location.
Yeah, we start, I mean, this start with that, but I think not only, because if we look at that, for instance, at this conference, you will see probably as many women as men. As
even I think slightly more women than men
speakers,
this year.
yeah,
Yes.
even more,
Yeah.
because we know there are many women in medical science. But it's not only that. I mean, it's also to take into account things that are not only science. And yeah.
Why is that important?
Yeah, that's important because, I mean, we're not looking only at papers and the relation you have with others, networking, the way you consider, of course, life and disease. It's very important, and we realize that from one country to another, things might be very different.
Yes.
And that's the reason why we tried to, I mean, to enlarge a little bit ESCMID influence. And we're welcoming people from many different countries also, and many different cultures.
Yeah. To get a more fair representation.
Yeah. So this is...
yeah.
I mean, often they are meeting at ECCMID when we are on site, but I mean, today they are meeting via virtual life. We used to.
Yeah. In order to break down the silos and hold on to the connection that is what also builds science, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about the collaboration. So, as a professional affairs officer, you're involved in helping the young trainees or the young investigators move along in their pathways. You're looking with the Parity Commission into who is the person behind the science. Are there any other sessions dedicated to increasing or improving this other side of science that you're interested in?
Yes, I'm quite interested in how will you do with your research, your ideas, and so the publications, because today people are known upon their publication. You're selected for a hospital, university, or even the private sector based on what you have done. And what you have done.
So what you publish is,
and what you
what your career
publish.
path will
And
maybe evolve in. Yeah.
I mean, we realize it's not as easy to publish. Even you have the idea, you have the results, and so they are ECCMID often a big session organized by the editor of Clinical Microbiology and Infection,
Yes.
which is the journal of ESCMID. But also we invite several other editors, and so this year we have 2 sessions on how to publish or
Yes.
publishing or
Yeah.
what was published. And I think that's very important, of course, for junior, but also for senior, because we need to have all these tips. We still hope they will give the tip.
Well, especially
To
also for the
publish.
seniors who need to keep adjusting
Yeah.
to a changing landscape, also in publishing.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, for our viewers who are interested in this excellent tip by Professor Cambau, it's an open forum which will be organized in ECCMID on July 12th, so that's on Monday. And it's at 5:15 in the afternoon till 6:15, and it's called Publishing in Clinical Microbiology and Infectious Diseases, a 5 to 10 years outlook. So I think that will be an excellent recommendation for young and old scientists.
Yeah.
Yeah, to check it out. Okay. Well, thank you very much for giving us more insight into your role as professional affairs officer, but also in what's new and what's coming up in your personal specialty area of mycobacteria. I think it was very elucidating. Well, it was for me, and I hope so too for our viewers. So I would very much like to thank you for your time to come in here live in the studio and connect with the viewers. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your invitation.
You're welcome. And for our viewers, as promised, we will be back at 7 p.m. again, and this time we will be talking to 3 more artists, just as we did yesterday at 7 p.m. And these are ECCMID participants who have submitted their pieces of art to our art gallery. You can look it up online on the platform. The art gallery is accessible for everyone. So take a look at it, and otherwise tune in at 7 p.m. because then you can hear directly from the artists themselves what inspired them to create their pieces of art. And it's a really fun session to tune into. So I hope to see you at 7.